Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss how the U.S. whiskey industry would be different if Jack Daniel's called itself a bourbon. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Ryan Thompson, Katie Joyce, and Steinkamp.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Hey, so yes, we are not going to get into the debate, is Jack Daniel's a bourbon or all that? I mean, it's clearly, that's been played out. It is a bourbon. It does not want to be called a bourbon. It wants to be called a Tennessee whiskey. Though they also say, they admit themselves that they are, in fact, a bourbon. That's just not how they qualify themselves. So we're going to talk about the what ifs of what would anything change? We'll talk to that after the break. But for right now, Steinkamp said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that?
If you had to choose an ability, which one would it be? 1, the ability to speak every single language, or 2, the ability to talk to animals.
No, I don't want to talk to animals.
Talk to animals.
I want every language. That would be helpful to me. I would enjoy listening to conversations where people are talking about me, and then I would let it go for so long, and then I would jump in and motherfuck them in their native tongue.
Steve's getting pedicures weekly just so he can
exactly. Just hoping. Yeah. Animals, fuck no. They're needy. They don't understand shit. Could you imagine? I'm hungry. Hey, I'm hungry. I fed you an hour ago. I'm still hungry right now. Let's get out the game. No, who needs that? I don't want to talk to animals. God.
That's a short-sighted outlook on it, Akeley. You're just thinking about dogs. What about all the other great animals in the world?
Yeah,
like cats, they'd be like, hey, fuck you, man.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here. Cats be like...
like you walk by, cat's like, hey. Fuck you.
Steve, hear me out. What if you could talk
That'd be entertaining as hell.
What if you could talk to a Key West iguana and they're like, hey man, there's boobs over there. You're gonna get
Yeah. You could talk
like,
to a bird
like,
and they go fly out and find you the best boobs in the area.
Iguana's like, hey man, you know how many boobs I see? You have any idea? Unbelievable from up here, buddy.
I think I would like to be able to talk with animals. I think I'm down with that. That'd be great.
No.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
I don't want to talk to every human in every language in the world. No.
You don't have to. You can choose not to. Once the animals, they're going to talk to you. They're going to be like, hey,
no,
Ryan.
That wasn't in the question. I'm with Ryan on this because I don't hear other languages all that often. But if I could understand what my dog's trying to ask or do, then it'd be great. Yeah.
No way. It's terrible.
Like goldfish.
I'd have the Bourbon Daily, the Mandarin Chinese. I do it all. The Bourbon Daily would be everywhere then. I do.
What if we could get Saint on? He's always participating.
I'd have McNews from every country. Oh.
First of all, I just had a great visual. I want to hear Akeley speaking Mandarin. That's what I want to see.
I don't even know how to fake that, but yes.
Probably not in your best interest to try to fake it.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I would legitimately like to speak it, but I'm not going to make fun of anybody or anything like that. So two people have already said we know.
I'm going
the
animal.
other two got to be the animals, I would guess, and that's such a bad answer.
My concern is I am too soft-hearted to speak to animals, so I would be in turmoil of actually hearing what some animals have to say, and so it'd be much harder for me in many situations. And so especially like coming across now like a turtle on the side of the road that got hit or something, and now it can speak to you, and as it's dying like a wild animal thing. This is
it's my leg.
It's horrible. Like so I already cannot watch movies that have animals in them for the most part. If an animal shows up in a movie, I have to pause it and I make John look it up on doesthedogdie.com because it tells you if the animal gets hurt or not. And if an animal dies in a movie, I cannot watch it. So like John Wick series, have not watched a single bit of the series because I cannot stand the thought of watching a dog die.
Yeah.
Hey, people die too, and you can understand every person in the world now.
People are assholes. They are not innocent. That is totally fine. Animals are innocent, and like I cannot handle it. So I think I would be in turmoil if I could speak to animals. I'm okay with the communication I have currently. That's what I'm gonna have to live with. Also, if you can speak to animals, you'd have to almost keep it secret because now you're going to be like in huge demand and like people are going to be wanting you to do all these things with it.
Right.
But if you can speak every language, it's technically a skill you could have. And it's actually possible for a human to do this. So you don't have to be secretive about it necessarily. You can just use it for your own benefit.
Exactly.
People don't realize that
it's the right answer.
Every language.
Yeah.
That they just think you just happen to know a lot of languages. And so you can use it for your benefits in real world and not have any emotional turmoil.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the right answer.
I've seen plenty of
And I hate that I'm agreeing with Eggly on this right now because he's usually anti-animal and I'm pro-animal and we're like so opposite on everything else. So it's like killing me that we're in agreement.
You're for the opposite reasons though.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be bothered.
Right.
and you don't want to be heartbroken.
I can't stand the heartbreak. Yeah.
I've seen plenty of guilty, ornery animals out there. They are not all innocent, by the way.
That's true. Like every snapping turtle, I'd be like, that's fine. I'll still kill you.
No, Saint's pretty verbally abusive. This thing yells at me every day, and I'm like,
can you imagine if you could actually understand the English he was speaking?
Why are you yelling?
God,
then he might not. But that's my point. Is as a fellow husky owner, then I'll know why they're going.
Oh, so you could just answer and do what they want right away, and then maybe they'll shut up.
And like I like make noises back at him. Like I will like mimic him and he just gets louder and I'm like,
oh yes,
he probably thinks I'm an idiot, like speaking his language all wrong. And I'm like,
I would yelling back like chicken noodle
soup. or like, you know, if you're playing poker and my dog's on the other side of the table, I could find out what cards are over there or something.
I feel like cats would be great at that. Like just put somebody up at the corner and they'll tell you every single thing.
We do have a poker table in the bar and the cats like to go in there. So they could actually be very helpful if you knew
what terrible.
Even in a professional casino, technically, like the mice around could like look.
The mice could help you. Sure, mice. There's so many mice in casinos.
My yard all the time. What are you thinking about? I wouldn't talk to the animals. I feel like a Disney princess. No. That's what I want for me.
Also, there's so many animals everywhere. Will you ever get any peace? This was in the latest Santa Claus series with Tim Allen, where they made a TV series out of it instead of movies. The daughter had the talent to speak to animals, and she was like having to cover her ears because she just wanted some peace and quiet, but they were all constantly talking at her.
I think just like
because you can talk to them doesn't mean you have to talk to them.
Yeah,
but they're going to talk to you.
Out that she could hear them, so then they all came flocking to her.
Sure. Yeah. Animals are dumb.
Told
That's what they'll do. That's what they'll do.
Mm-hmm. You only think they're dumb because you don't know what they're saying, Steve.
No, I know.
I mean, it's like this huge, like you're like United Nations for all of the animals. You have to solve all of them.
I have no idea.
They're so annoying. They would always think they're getting the short shaft on everything. It's like, no, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have a job.
You think that about most people, though, Steve. So
well, that's true, but back to Katie's thing. If you don't have to speak to people if you don't want to, and you use that when you want to. The animals aren't going to stop talking. This is asinine. The only answer is you know all languages. Look at all you could do with that. You do business, you'd be an expert. military, whatever you want to go with that. If you want to turn it into a career, you certainly
Katie
could
had a
turn it
point
into
where
a
if
career.
people knew you could talk to their animals, you'd be in demand. Why can't I get paid for that? Yeah.
You
wanna know
could.
what their cats
You would
think?
absolutely. Yeah,
Pay.
that's fine.
I know what the goldfish thinks. Absolutely, pay me. That's gonna be my new job.
You have a TV show and everything, like McNew, the animal medium.
Oh God, man. Terrible.
But I just might start that even without the skills. I don't.
Like,
I've
I'm not the
created
dog
a monster.
whisperer. Like, we talk full volume. We don't need to whisper, okay?
Yeah. When you see me on TLC next month, just mind your business. Let it go.
On that note, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew. McNew, what do you got?
A Hard Truth Hills pick from Indiana Bourbon Club.
Interesting. I heard
weird.
some desk there, and then
But a little, yeah.
little desk. The cork pop wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. All right. So,
Just pop.
yeah, Katie, what do you got?
I have Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select.
Nice. Oh, explosive. That's the lead.
Good.
I've got Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. Let's see what we got here. Oh.
You had a slosh at the end, though.
Let's not talk about that. Not talk
We
about
all
that.
heard it, Akeley. We all heard it.
I guess Katie still has the lead. She pointed that out.
Begrudgingly.
That's rude, is what it was. You usually, when you're directly competing against someone, you don't weigh in on their corporate. You let others, but that's fine. That's fine.
It's my job, okay?
Okay, all right. Katie has the lead. Steinkamp, you're next. What do you got?
I have some Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
No.
We did hear something that time, though.
We did hear
that's-
something.
That was the
it
best
Stein-
one on this end, but still not
We
enough
heard
to
it,
win.
and I
Okay.
Yeah, still not enough to win.
Okay. All right. Katie has the lead. Ryan, you're next. Last but not least.
Well, all right. From 291 here. Let's go.
Okay. That was your best one ever, but not good enough. Not good enough.
I feel like he should get benefit though of he doesn't have a fancy microphone. Like in real life, I feel like his would be the winner.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate you recognizing.
Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
Ding.
All right. We'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about this concept. What would happen, if anything? We'll talk about that if Jack Daniel's decided to identify themselves as bourbon. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
I'm Davey Waltz.
And I'm Adina.
And you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about what would happen if Jack Daniel's listed itself as a bourbon.
Yes, we are. So the idea here is they, on their label, they'll tell you they're Tennessee whiskey, but they come out with an announcement that from now on that's going to be replaced. We're just calling ourselves a bourbon. We're just Jack Daniel's bourbon moving forward. What would happen? Do we think anything would change?
So it's not a great question. If they never claimed Tennessee whiskey. It's a question of if they now decided.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow we're starting. Tomorrow we're officially bourbon. Yeah.
Well, that changes my answer.
Okay.
I think it's going to confuse a hell of a lot of people out there because they're not really aware of what's going on with the different definitions, etc. Some people are going to be like, I'm not drinking Jack Daniel's anymore, even though it doesn't change the thing. But I think it's going to be really confusing. But I love the question. I love the topic. I think it's really interesting.
And are they changing 100% across the board? Like they do not use Tennessee whiskey at all anymore?
They're like, this Tennessee whiskey's been a good run, but we've always been bourbon. We're just going to that. And again, they're not doing that. There's no chance of that. But for discussion's sake, that's what we're saying today.
Well, I think it would make their Tennessee whiskey labels more valuable. Now they're going to be collectibles.
Sure. That so instantly creates collectibles for that.
Further offset that subsect of whiskey.
Which becoming a collectible would help them a lot because you think about all the cleanup they have to do. There's a lot of stores that have it out there, and you're hoping. I think they would try to play that up. They'd be like, "Those labels are gone for good," and probably come out with a guide to the labels, to create a demand for them. And otherwise they got to buy back all that.
Selling the company, that might be a good thing to do because it'll artificially rise sales temporarily here.
Okay.
Kind of like the Rolling Stones' last tour for the last 30 years.
Yeah, well, they're not the only ones that do that. So there's
exactly.
The last tour. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that definitely would change would be, we always think of Kentucky as bourbon. Kentucky, everything immediately overnight it would change from Kentucky being the place where bourbon is made in this country to being Tennessee. Tennessee would instantly become the biggest bourbon producer in the United States. So
you think it pisses off some fans though? Like if you have this guy who is like 70 years old and he's like, I'm a Tennessee whiskey drinker. I only drink Jack Daniel's. Like he is so brand loyal. If they say I'm a bourbon now, he's like, life's over. Man's done. Yeah. Not buying a single drop anymore. Like you're going to have some people like that.
Oh, sure.
But are they big enough to like make a difference? Like,
yeah.
The same note, then why are we claiming bourbon at all? Why don't we just say whiskey for everything? Rye and American whiskey and bourbon. Why isn't everything just whiskey at that point? So I think it brings up, I think thinking about them doing that brings up kind of the importance of that they do claim the Tennessee whiskey name, because I think you can use that to show the importance of there are other whiskeys out there in the subsects of that, of Irish whiskey and rye whiskey, and looking at these different areas in comparison to the Tennessee whiskey, even though the others don't qualify as bourbon.
Yeah, the problem with that argument is that, in fact, they do qualify as a bourbon. And bourbon is a defined category, and so to take that away, just say everything's just whiskey, well, you're taking away a category that is defined, and Jack Daniel's does fall under that. But they're like, well, they created legislation that allows them to call themselves Tennessee whiskey, but everybody could do that. I mean, it could be we're not bourbon, we're Iowa whiskey.
So the problem
but they
is
follow
that
the rules of bourbon.
They should have been Tennessee bourbon whiskey the entire time. The same way as that bourbon is still bourbon whiskey. It's just a caveat on top.
But I mean, what they ultimately do, Katie, and the reason why they do what they did is they're trying to create loyal customers, and then what they begin doing is marketing. You're a Tennessee whiskey fan, and you're not a bourbon fan. You're a Tennessee whiskey fan. So consumers, especially when they're doing this, you're talking about the early 1900s. It's not the social media today where they have access to all the information and they can tell exactly. They just know that this product that they tried and liked called Jack Daniel's is a Tennessee whiskey, and I like that. So it's not a bourbon. I guess I don't like bourbons. I like Tennessee whiskey. So it allowed them to build this very loyal base that really was like, we don't like the other things that are out there. So what happens then is they're not trying the other things, which works out really good for Jack Daniels. They're not tasting it.
So that the people who fall loyal to I'm a Tennessee whiskey fan are drinking their higher quality products like the single barrels, everything that we opened tonight. None of us opened a standard bottle of Jack because I don't think any of us would drink that necessarily unless we're at least not on this type of show where we're drinking it neat, etc. So I would think that the people who are I'm a Tennessee whiskey fan are those who are drinking their base label.
Probably. So that's probably accurate.
Are those the people that we think would actually then go try other bourbons? I mean, I could see some of them switching to like Jim Beam of that kind of switch there, but do we think it would actually expand their horizons, or do we think then they're going to become only Jack loyal? Because like
that was my next question, Katie, was would other brands follow suit? Because a lot of other brands call themselves Tennessee whiskey, which makes sense because Jack Daniel's is huge. Why wouldn't you want to follow suit with that? Would they say they're a bourbon, we're bourbon now too? Do you see the other Tennessee whiskeys following suit with that?
Yes, I think that what they then try, what I assume, again, we're making always a lot of assumptions for the show, and that's kind of the concept of the show. But I would think what would happen is they would begin to go after the tourist and things like that. I don't know if it's changing it to bourbon. I don't think that makes a difference in consumers. I think the loyal consumers that like Jack Daniels are going to like Jack Daniels, or you might get some like McNew said that are pissed because they're making a change. There's going to be some of that. There's going to be some fallout from that. But I think what they're trying to then do is to kind of be like, you want to come visit bourbon country, you come to Tennessee, and they start trying to build loyal consumers by upping tourism and coming and visiting distilleries. And this, a rising tide lifts all boats. They're trying to do that then within Tennessee. I think they're trying to help their fellow distillers. Not that that's really what they want to do. They want to sell everything. But at the same time, if they can build Tennessee into the place, let's go after Kentucky and just wipe them out altogether. Let's get people to forget about Kentucky.
So they're still trying to go after that entry market who's like, I want to do a bourbon tour. And they're like, well, come to Tennessee for that.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be an important quotient to this. Yeah.
It would like Maker's Mark would be not happy about this.
No.
And Jim Beam's not gonna be happy. So
I would think the whole state of Kentucky would be furious.
But the specialty craft distillery are not going to be affected. I wouldn't think by this change. So it's going to be the only the biggest names that are going to have any effect. I would think from this, the people who can get people in on that entry level of the market.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that our second Civil War is about bourbon.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing thought. That'd be bad, but
Kentucky invades Tennessee. It's like, what the fuck's going on? This would be unheard of. Yeah, it's not the whole country. It's just the two states are at war.
It's
all over bourbon. Yeah.
If this causes a civil war over whiskey, what states do we think would side with Tennessee?
Oh, interesting.
Definitely pro Kentucky. We're Kentucky fans. We like being bourbon also. Missouri, I think, is also with Kentucky.
I would think they would stay with Kentucky. I don't know who would go with Tennessee. I don't think
Alabama's right there. They're touching. They just because they're buddies like that. They might.
I think most states you end up touching, you don't actually kind of like for the most part.
So do we think the
maybe it's
South
like a brother?
Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Carolinas, Florida. Do we think they would be Team Tennessee?
I don't know.
I think the one that's going to jump on it and go with them is Texas. They're already looking for a reason to get out, right? They're always looking for a reason. Texas and Tennessee.
Yeah, Texas and Tennessee.
And if you've got that connection between Tennessee and Texas, and Arkansas is going to feel the push to join in, as well as
a lot of pressure on Arkansas legislators to join. Yeah.
Oh, so then what does St. Genevieve, Missouri do? What is
St. Genevieve, yes. There.
I hope this doesn't happen because there's not a winner. Let's just all drink some whiskey and get along, right?
where's the new Mason-Dixon line? I need to know.
Yeah. So, yeah, it definitely would be interesting.
Our answer is that our country ends up in civil war if Jack Daniels
over fighting over whiskey. Over whiskey. Yeah. So.
That's
intense. I wonder if they know they have this power.
Yeah. I feel like Ryan emerges like president after all that. He's like, let's just have a drink and get some together.
Control in Colorado watching.
I think Ryan's gonna somehow cause the West and the North to like come up with their own group. They're like, no, Kentucky and Tennessee can fuck off. We've got this whole idea. Like, he's gonna break off that corner of the country.
Rocky Mountains and West, we're just over here sipping our whiskey, enjoying each other's company, having a good time.
Yep. Yeah, that's what So, that'd be interesting then. The Civil War is only half the country. But
yeah. Wow. So, yeah, well, hopefully it wouldn't come to that. I would assume there'd be a lot of repercussions, but yeah, I don't. And then it's like Lynchburg, Tennessee, being like, hey, we're the bourbon capital of the world. Fucking Bardstown is like, hey, you sons of bitches.
That would be a civil war.
Would start a war.
I know. The
whole problem.
Yeah.
Especially, if you look at the tax money associated, it's possible. Like, it's not far off.
Yeah, there would be. The funny thing about that too is the fact that while it's based in Tennessee, Jack Daniels is a Kentucky-owned company. I mean, it's owned by Brown Forman, which is a Louisville-based company. So, I wouldn't want to be at headquarters as that goes down.
And Missouri might be in play for Tennessee because Jack Daniels was once upon a time in St. Louis.
I think we need to see if the company that owns them has any sibling companies in arms dealership, because then this might be a reason that they're starting a civil war if they would benefit financially from the start of the war.
This is going down a deep, dark hole.
Right.
You create a whole new conspiracy theory, and it is my favorite conspiracy theory I've ever heard of.
Okay. Yeah. That would get interesting. So, yeah. Huh.
We've solved nothing, but we've created.
This is not where I thought this one would go, but we got here somehow. I don't know.
You didn't purposely make a show in hopes that we would talk about.
I didn't think. Oh, yeah, this will be lead to civil war. No, I thought it was going to be just like, name calling, perhaps. And,
I have a good idea for Bo Cumberland. He likes to make board games. We could do like a risk game about bourbon. What state's going to be like the new bourbon capital?
Or like a Settlers of like a Catan style game.
Yeah, we're taking over the bourbon world. I need somebody to make
instead of like trading in 3 sheep to make a road, you're like trading things in to get a barrel or a rick house somewhere. I like it.
Yeah, wow.
I like that a lot.
This is much more exciting than I had another lawyer friend. We played Catan and we made up a planning and zoning version of it. This is much more exciting.
Yeah, sounds like it.
What did nerds do on Friday night?
It was a Saturday. Thank you.
Fair enough.
There you go. On that note, we're going to wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Steinkamp, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Investment Whiskey.
Katie.
You can find me thinking of new Catan versions now, and also over on Instagram at Katie Proof.
Ryan.
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey, and our website's 10thwhiskey.com. That's 10th whiskey with an E.
All right, McNew.
Not accidentally starting wars at McNew ABV on Instagram.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, that thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. All of our previous shows, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop, Arnold, Missouri, a St. Louis suburb, the place where you can try before you buy. Heck, you never know. Maybe Katie will be there. You never know. It happens sometimes. So check us out.
Winning the lottery if I'm there.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We make our rent payment that month for sure. Check us out at abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Finance will have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, all.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing, the ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.